Universal Studios Parks host an annual after-hours haunt event called Halloween Horror Nights, featuring several houses, scare zones, and shows throughout the park. At Halloween Horror Nights, fans can walk through recreations of dark and terrifying scenes from horror movies, TV shows, and sometimes music. Enter Billie Eilish, 5-time Grammy winner, pop icon, and the inspiration behind a Halloween Horror Nights house that never happened. How did this come about? According to Theme Park University, Universal Studios Hollywood met with Billie Eilish's representatives in early 2020 about the possibility of using her music and likeness in a haunted house at the park's annual Halloween Horror Nights event. At the time, this haunt event was in line with her brand and would have been good exposure. Billie Eilish, who has connections to Universal Music Group, went on to win several Grammys in January 2021. After that, Universal agreed to feature a house based on her at the Hollywood and Orlando Halloween Horror Nights events. On March 30th, 2020, a reputable fan-run site called Horror Night Nightmares released its first version of a speculation map for that year's Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando and Hollywood, published before Universal made any official announcements. Just as fans were excited to see rumored houses such as Beetlejuice and Gremlins, they were equally confused to see plans for a Billie Eilish house. In an updated version of the speculation map for Orlando, the Billie Eilish house had been replaced. However, she still was a part of the event, though only for the soundtrack of a house rumored to be titled Universal Monsters: The Bride, music by Billie Eilish. Other rumors suggested Eilish would provide the soundtrack for the event's nighttime lagoon show. In the final version of Orlando's speculation map, the Billie Eilish house returned, listed once again as its own attraction, now titled The Demons of Billie Eilish. On every version of Hollywood's speculation map, the house stayed unchanged. While at first glance it may not seem Billie Eilish has a place at Halloween Horror Nights, she is actually a fan of horror and the event, having previously attended in Hollywood. Eilish's interest in horror is reflected in her art. Her lyrics explore dark topics. Her music sonically is gloomy, and some of her music videos are directly inspired by horror-themed media, such as American Horror Story and The Babadook. To further explain how Billie Eilish fits into the event, Halloween Horror Nights in recent years has included horror-adjacent properties such as Stranger Things and Ghostbusters, successfully pulling in a broader audience that may not have been interested in the event without these franchises. Featuring Billie Eilish at Halloween Horror Nights would make sense for Universal from a business standpoint. She has a huge fan base and would draw in first-time visitors who may buy merch and love the event enough to return in the future. What would the Billie Eilish house have looked like? Similar to other Halloween Horror Nights houses, Billie Eilish's would have included elaborate sets and numerous scare actors throughout the maze. Her music videos and performances are very theatrical, serving as the inspiration behind the sets and scares in the house. In early December 2020, photos of the house's unused props surfaced on Twitter in a tweet that has since been deleted. These props give us an idea of what imagery may have been included in the house. The first image in the tweet includes cutout figures of shadowy, human-like monsters. These characters served as the backdrop during live performances of her song Copycat. The second picture is of two windows with murky panes of glass. These likely would have been a part of the set, perhaps in an eerie house setting as seen in the Bury a Friend music video. The third and fourth pictures in the tweet are of a wooden bed frame and headboard, with her lyrics and album title carved into it. When we all fall asleep, where do we go? Other engravings include monsters based on her original art against a fiery background, a spider web, and lyrics that read, "Suicidal, stolen art." Facebook user Vicious Smile Photography shared photos of other props. One picture includes the upper part of a large face, which could possibly be the beastly animated spider from Eilish's You Should See Me in a Crown music video. Another image showed a white bedroom dresser and the letter B, drizzled with bright green paint that matches her signature hair color. These props were to be included in Orlando's version of the maze, though the Hollywood house may have had identical or similar scenes. While not confirmed, other recognizable ideas from her music videos that could have been used in the house include her uncomfortable stream of black tears shed in When the Party's Over, the haunting sights from Bury a Friend, her demonic transformation in All the Good Girls Go to Hell, or a cluster of spiders like in You Should See Me in a Crown. In her videos, Billie Eilish typically plays the role of a monster, so the scare actors in the house may have been lookalikes of her to recreate these scenes. As featured on her 2019 album art and in the lyrics of the single Bury a Friend, the monster under the bed is a distinct idea in Eilish's work. About her monster-themed lyrics, Eilish said, quote, "I also confess that I'm this monster. I might be the monster under your bed too," unquote. With this in mind, it can be speculated that the house's plot may have been centered around the notion of the monster under the bed or a sleep paralysis demon, in addition to scenes from her other videos. What happened in 2020 needs no explanation. Events around the world were postponed or canceled, and Halloween Horror Nights experienced the same fate. After an uncharacteristically quiet season of no official announcements, Universal confirmed on July 24th, 2020 that Halloween Horror Nights was canceled on both coasts due to health and safety concerns. Universal reportedly had reached out to Billie Eilish's camp to extend their contract and use the house in the fall of 2021. But Eilish's representatives have reportedly declined and pulled out of the event for good. Rumors state that Billie Eilish is changing her image in 2021 to the extent that she would not want to go forward with a haunted house based on her music and likeness. Eilish has provided the theme song for the upcoming James Bond film and has an album on the way, so her moving in a different direction into a new era separated from Halloween Horror Nights makes sense. The house, which had been completed but never opened to the public, was disassembled and never used. During the 2020 Halloween season, Universal Orlando Resort hosted a scaled-down version of the event that did not feature Billie Eilish. With her maze disassembled and cancelled, we can bury any hope of a Billie Eilish house in the near future. While we look forward to what haunts and creeps wait for us at Halloween Horror Nights in 2021, this idea can be put to sleep.